If you're out there in the audience and that's you, come on up here. Jason and Rebecca Hebler with Alexander. Come on up. You want to get now? Well, we get to be a part of this too, and that's why we do baby dedications. In case you're new to Northridge, we don't baptize or christen babies. We feel the Bible tells us that water baptism is reserved for a child when they're ready to commit their lives to Jesus as their Savior and Lord. But this is an opportunity for us to dedicate Alexander and the parents and us, the supportive family and friends, to the task of raising him in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. And so that's why we do dedications. Just like Samuel was dedicated, just like Jesus was dedicated in the temple. That's what we do. Well, this is a very special occasion. Rebecca and Jason, I got to marry them because I'm a part of their family. Jan and I are godparents, and it's been pretty easy. We haven't had to do anything except show up for home-cooked meals for some 20 years, and Leah is the best cook in the world. So thank you for allowing us the privilege of being a part of your lives. This is the first Schofield grandchild. And I think they're going to try to catch the Craigs. This is going to be a big family. So we're excited about this. I think you can see the picture up there. Good Canadian family. This is their picture. The whole immediate family is up there. At Christmas this year with their matching lumberjack pajamas. And this is the kind of network and support that Alexander is going to enjoy. I want to talk a little bit about his name. He was born October 7th. Yes. And they chose Alexander just because that was the one name they could agree on. But I don't know if you knew how important that name is. It's Greek origin. Obviously, we think of Alexander the Great. And it means defender of men. What a prophetic legacy for Alexander to grow up into. But the other names are incredibly supportive of that destiny. James, your father, good that you included him in the name, comes from the Hebrew Jacob. You all remember the first Jacob. He followed his brother Esau out of the mother's womb, grabbing his brother's heel. He's called heel grabber. And Jacob, James, is a contender, someone who fights and wrestles. In fact, later on, Jacob was so anxious to be blessed by God, he wrestled with what they say is the angel of the Lord, who is Jesus. He wrestled all night with Jesus. And up until that time, he contended in his own strength and his own wiles. But at that point, in fact, he was bruised in the thigh, walked with a limp to remind him. He was reminded of his new name, Israel. God contends. And Jacob, James, learned through life that if you want to be a contender, do it through God's power. That leads to the next name. Our bass player is represented. Your dad, Vincent, means conqueror. So as Alexander wants to defend others, he'll learn that he'll do that through the one who loves him. And he is more than a conqueror through Christ who loves us. Making that verse you read, you heard from God. That's the verse that I want to declare over you today. And I'm going to do that before the vows. Let's just hear a little bit from Romans 8. And I think it would be good if you put that on a plaque and put it in his room. This could be his chapter for his life. And it's full of rich, rich wisdom. I'm just going to pull out a couple of verses that you might be familiar with. Verse 28. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. And down to verse 32, if God is for us, who can be against us? Then all those things that we sang about today, all those threats that could come against us, it concludes with this thought, verse 37, but in all these things, we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. That's the promise that goes to Alexander as he prepares to live out his life. And that's the promise to you as parents as we trust in him. What we like to do here is vows. And I've decided to put them up on the screen so that you can see visually what they're promising to do. So let's do this together. Jason and Rebecca, do you promise to raise Alexander with patience and gentleness, lovingly instructing him and discipling him to follow your God.
Yes.
You can say we do. Make it really formal. Perfect. Do you promise to pray with him? Nope. Went too far. I'm doing this so I don't have to keep looking back there. It's not working. You promise to keep your marriage strong so you can model for Alexander the kind of life he can have if he follows God.
We do.
Finally, do you promise to pray with him and for him that he would put his faith in God early in his life?
We do.
This one's for all of us because we're a village, a community of faith that will also contribute to his life. To your family and friends, do we promise to support Jason, Rebecca, and Alexander, holding them up in our prayers and encouragement, and providing other models of right living for Alexander to follow?
Yeah.
All right. They put this roll really close, and I don't know if they were realizing that the Schofield family would be up here, but can we have just the immediate family come and join with Jason, Rebecca, and Alexander up here? I'll move this table down a little bit more. So family members only. If we invited friends, there'd be nobody left out there. So Schofields have been a part of this church since the beginning of the church, and they've got a lot of friends and a lot of support. And this is where I'm going to try to take Alexander in my arms. Check out this tie. Now we can stand together. Lamentations 3 says that we extend our heart with our hands. So go ahead and extend your hands toward them. You want to gather around Jason and Rebecca and lay hands, as many of you that can reach them. And I'll try to step out of the way a little bit here. All right, let's pray together. Our Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for this miraculous gift that you've given to this great couple. Lord, this is a gift of your grace. And Lord, I thank you that you've trusted Jason and Rebecca with this gift. You know that they'll be good stewards, that they'll pour their hearts, their lives, their resources into making this life thrive in the kingdom of God. Thank you for the promise that this young man will grow up to be a defender of others. He'll do so through your strength, O God, and he will become a conqueror, a victor in the name of Jesus. Thank you for that prophetic mantle that's placed on him now. We entrust him to your care. Lord, supply the patience, the love, the grace for Alexander's parents as they face the challenges ahead. For all of us who support this couple, may we look to you for the resources we need, the grace that we need to flow through our lives to Alexander. Thank you, Lord, that you will supply these things because of Jesus. And in his name we pray. Amen. Amen. Dedicate this child to him. All right, thank you, Schofield family. And I'm sorry, we also have the Hebler family. Thank you. There's James right there, the namesake. And thank you all.